Most people still think that landing a job offer is about applying more, being persistent and trusting the process until somebody finally notices you. But let's be real, if it was that easy, you wouldn't be here right now. I've watched hundreds of overqualified, hardworking and incredibly smart people fire off thousands of applications and they don't get anything back. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do in the next 30 days to break out of this rejection cycle and start landing offers on demand. And after this, I promise you'll never look at the job market in the same way again. So by the way, I'm Oliver. I've helped hundreds of candidates go from being completely ghosted to stacking multiple offers at their target firms. Just like John, who went from 0 interviews to JP Morgan in just 6 weeks, and Alexia, who landed 5 interviews in 2 weeks after months of silence, and hundreds of other students who went from rejection to becoming an in-demand candidate. And they did it without an elite degree or insider connections, just by shifting how they position themselves in the job market. So let's go straight into it. Step number 1, you need to own your own story. Most people approach the job market completely backwards. They scroll through job boards, applying to whatever role they can get a hold of, and endlessly tweaking their CVs to sound like the perfect fit. But the problem is, when you're always trying to fit in, you disappear. You become background noise in a pile of identical applications. And the risk is you end up sounding like everybody else. The only way to truly stand out is to build a real personal brand, one that is built around what makes you actually unique and positions you as the obvious candidate. It's as simple as asking yourself, what do I care about? What do I enjoy? And what am I good at? And when you answer those questions honestly, you put yourself well ahead of all the other candidates. Because when you get a clear sense of your own purpose, it shows through in everything that you do. From your CV to the impression you leave in the interview room, you need to be telling a story about yourself. So just think about someone that you like, someone who's successful, people in history, people like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. They all had something in common. They had a strong purpose. Elon Musk to send humans to Mars. Bill Gates to put a computer in every home. They had a magnetic, why am I doing this? Which makes them instantly stand out and memorable. Now, how is this actually going to help you get a job? Well, just look at these 2 applications for just a second. One looks like it was written by AI in about 5 seconds, and the other sounds like a human who knows who they are. You already know which one is going to get the call back despite them having the exact same degree and qualifications, because they've clearly communicated their story and what makes them unique, not listed a bunch of qualifications and accolades which attract 0 attention. Now, if you want more help doing this, then just download my personal branding guide. It's free and it's in the link in the description below. And I know it will really help you achieve your personal branding story. Step number 2, you need to stop passively applying for jobs and start taking control through building relationships. Now, this is where it becomes an absolute game changer, because this is the part where you decide whether to become applicant 1012 or you take action and you separate yourself from the pile of ghosted applications who never stood a chance of securing a role in the first place. Now, here's where 98% of people get it wrong. They think networking is about aimlessly adding people on LinkedIn and emailing hiring managers to ask if they have any jobs. If you do this, you've already lost, because you've entered the chat with desperation, not with something to offer. Literally everything you need to know about networking comes down to these 4 letters. LATR. L stands for list. You need to be strategic and targeted on who you're reaching out to, not spamming friend requests like everybody else. A stands for ask. You need to ask the right question and not for a job. People don't hire strangers. A simple question which asks for advice and starts a natural conversation is 1,000 times more effective than DMing a stranger to give you a 50K salary. T stands for track. You need to track every single interaction so you have the data on what actually works and what's keeping you ghosted. And you can use those contacts in your application processes later on. And when you start making applications, it's gonna be so much easier to track the people that you've actually contacted. And R stands for repeat. You need to follow up with your list on a consistent basis without overwhelming and annoying them. I guarantee you, if you do this correctly, you'll become the 2% that don't rely on luck, and you'll start to land offers you once thought were completely out of your reach. Take Tim, for example, who came from a non-target university, had 0 prior connections, and spent months monitoring job boards, grinding out hundreds and hundreds of applications to hear nothing back. And he was slowly losing faith, slowly losing confidence, until he took control through focused networking, and then landed his target role at JP Morgan within 90 days. Now, step number 3, this is where it can all fall apart, because there's no point in creating an incredible story about yourself, starting all these conversations and tracking the data if you fumble every single interview, because you're memorizing scripts and you have 0 conviction in what you're actually saying about yourself. You need a game plan to walk through the door and position yourself ahead of everybody. You need to communicate your personal brand in an authentic way and frame yourself as an equal, not someone who would just take any job offered to them. Now, if you do step 1 and 2 correctly, this is easy, because you already have your story, which will be magnetic to employers. And you're going to be walking into interviews on a regular basis, not refreshing your inbox in that one opportunity to present itself, which means you now hold all the cards and you finally have the choice in where you work. And imagine how much confidence this is going to give you, because you now know you no longer need this job. If this one doesn't work out, it's okay. You've got a stack of other employers who are waiting to talk to you. And there's no doubt that you're going to leave a huge impression in the interview room. And it'll become only a matter of time before you start landing the offers you always wanted. So to recap, if you master all 3 of these steps, you'll never have to chase opportunities again. You'll start creating them. Because once you've crafted your story, you start building relationships the right way, and you're walking into interviews with conviction, you'll stop waiting for someone to pick you, because you'll become the person who gets to decide where they go next. Now, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's that you're a lot closer to your target job than you think. Because yes, the job market is really tough right now, and there is more competition than ever before, especially with AI that filters out your application and thousands of people chasing the same opportunities. It can feel impossible to break through. But here's the truth. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room, and you don't need an elite degree. You just need to be the clearest on what you can bring to the table. Now, if you're ready to take action and implement everything I've covered in this video, the personal branding, the hidden opportunities, and becoming magnetic to employers, it's all laid out in the Offer Accelerator. This is my step-by-step blueprint to go from ghosted to multiple offers in 90 days. It's the same system hundreds of my students have used to end their job search fast and land roles which they once thought were out of their reach. Just click in the link in my description to learn more, and I'll see you soon.